Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the player ratings. Everton 1, West Ham United 0. Everton finally picking up their first Premier League win of the season. Another hard fought battling performance, this time ending in 3 points, thankfully, after what had been, a few really good performances on the bounce, but obviously none of them ending in those 3 points. Today was the difference. Neil Maupay, the difference maker. What a finish. What a flick up. He's had a scrap with the corner flag, which we are extremely used to. Everton forwards having scraps with corner flags, and there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And another, as I said, really hard-working, hard-fought Everton performance. And a deserved victory. It was a deserved victory. It wasn't perfect by any sense of the imagination. And okay, we rode our luck a little bit. West Ham had a couple of opportunities that maybe, on another day they'd have scored, maybe on another day they'd have done better with. However, I thought defensively for the majority of the game we were extremely solid. I thought our midfield battled and won the ball back when it needed to. Adrissa and Gueye, just like he's never ever left the football club. It's absolutely baffling to me that lad left the club for 3 years and has only just come back, and this was his first start back as an Everton player, because just by looking at him and the way he's slotted in and how perfect he fits within this team and this system, you'd think he'd never been away. Alex Iwobi was absolutely phenomenal again. Long live Alex Iwobi. Amadou Onana was brilliant. Coady was absolutely fantastic as well. I tell you what, they tell you to never fall in love with a lone player. Well, I'm bollocks me, because I'm fully in love with Coady. He's absolutely unbelievable. James Tarkowski, don't even get me started on Nathan Patterson. There's not a right back in this country that is on better form than Nathan Patterson at the moment. He's phenomenal. Asmir Begovic done what he needed to do. Listen, we were really good today. I thought we were really good. We battled for everything. First half was a little bit flat, I think, from both teams. I thought the passing was a little bit poor, and I thought we were clearly lacking that little bit of magic in the final third. But we found that in the second half. The desire, the commitment, the battle was still there. And as I said in the instant match reaction, this has become an Everton performance that you almost expect to see now, which is mad for us to say as Evertonians, because it was only 12 months ago we were expecting performances of players turning up, not wanting to fight, not wanting to battle, putting their head down and not really caring and not really getting involved and just wanting to see the game out and go home, really. Whereas now we're expecting Everton performances where everybody pulls their weight, everybody battles, everybody fights for the shirt, everybody works hard, and that's exactly what we've seen for the last 4 or 5 Premier League games. And okay, it hasn't ended in a victory, but it did today. And we knew how desperate we were to get that first Premier League win of the season. And it's coming a game that, I think a lot of us were confident in, and hopefully we can take some momentum and take some confidence from this win, and apply it over the next few weeks. So obviously we've got an international break now, which isn't great in terms of the fact it's come straight after a win, but it is good in terms of the fact that it allows us to get players like, Jordan Pickford back fit, although I do think Asmir Begovic played really well today. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course, has had a little bit of an extra rest after being taken out of today's game from Frank Lampard. So, yeah. It's coming a good point for us to get players back, but hopefully we can sort of channel some momentum and some confidence from this win and take it into the game against Southampton, because I honestly think we could wipe the floor with Southampton if we perform again like that today, because, again, the fight, the desire, the battle, it was all there, and that's what happens when you've got a goal scorer. That's what happens when you've got a lad who needs a split second to make a decision. Wonderful first touch and an absolute thunderbolt into the bottom corner. Anyway, we have done the instant match reaction. If you haven't checked that out, please do so after this live stream. This is the player ratings. If you've never been to a player ratings video or joined us for one, we're going to give every player a rating between 1 and 10 on their performance, how they played, and yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a conversation about the players individually as opposed to as a whole. So let's get straight into it then. Asmir Begovic, I'm going to give Asmir a 7.5 out of 10 today. I thought he was solid today. I thought he was really solid. Made a couple of good saves. A couple of saves you would expect him to make given his height and given his presence. But again, expected saves that, although you expect them to make, it still doesn't take away from the fact that they're, really good saves and saves that ultimately kept Everton in the game. There were a couple of moments where he come out and he collected the ball when he needed to. A couple of moments where, he slowed the game down when he needed to. There's one right at the end where he come and collected the ball, I think, after it was bouncing around from a corner. And then he sort of, he just threw himself on it and left himself on the floor for a minute or so. And, that's what you need in those situations, don't you? You need a goalkeeper with the experience to know how to do that. And as I said, I don't think he was put under an awful lot of pressure today. The shot that hit the air post, he was a little bit static for, but you can't really sit here and blame him for that. And West Ham didn't have an unbelievable amount of chances. It's not like they're sitting here and they had, hundreds of chances. They had a couple in the first half that go down as shots on target, and to all of the stats obsessed people, they'll look at it and go, oh, but West Ham had this many shots on target. They had 3 shots on target in the first half that were cushioned headers into Asmir Begovic's palms. So he done exactly what he needed to do. He stepped in for Jordan Pickford, which of course isn't an easy task, especially after the performance that Jordan had just put in the Merseyside derby. But he done a good job. He was where he needed to be when he needed to be there. The saves he needed to make, he made. He didn't make anything difficult. He didn't make anything complicated. He just done what he needed to do and done it well. So, yeah, Asmir Begovic gets a 7.5 out of 10. Vitaly Mykolenko, I've seen a couple of tweets about Vitaly Mykolenko on Twitter just in the 10 or 15 minutes that we were away then. And some people still seem to think that he wasn't particularly great today. I thought Vitaly Mykolenko was fantastic today. I'm going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. I really, really am. I thought he was brilliant. I thought it was his best game in an Everton shirt for some time. Okay, there were a couple of times that he was caught out in wide areas and maybe, the West Ham forwards had the better of him. But he put in a couple of really menacing sliding challenges. He won the ball back a few times. He had a couple of moments where he had the ball at his feet in our box and he had a decision to make, and he always made the right decision, whether it was to get the ball out, whether it was to put it out for a throw-in, whether it was to cut inside and look for a pass. I thought he played well today, to be honest with you. And maybe Vitaly Mykolenko's fallen under a little bit of the, comparison with Nathan Patterson. And, maybe that's why people aren't as impressed with Vitaly Mykolenko. But what you've got to understand is Nathan Patterson is putting performances in every week that are just 9, 10 out of 10s without fail. The kid is phenomenal. And I actually think Vitaly Mykolenko's phenomenal as well. But he's maybe just not been performing at the same level as Nathan Patterson. So when you try and compare them, you look for the flaws in Vitaly Mykolenko's game. Whereas I thought today, I don't think there was a problem with him whatsoever. I think he dealt with what he needed to do. I think he battled well. As I said, he threw a couple of sliding challenges in, which were really important at really important stages in the game. Every time the ball was anywhere near him, he won it. And he kept strong. He put his body in the way. He defended when he needed to. I thought he was really, really solid today, so I'm going to give him an 8.5. Into the middle of the defence then, James Tarkowski, I'm going to give him an 8. Again, solid performance by James Tarkowski today. Obviously, there were a couple of moments from a defensive point of view where maybe we gifted West Ham a couple of opportunities and maybe we made it a little bit too easy for them to get in behind and a little bit too easy for them to get shots on goal. But I think for the most part, defensively, I thought we were really solid. James Tarkowski, again, you look at you talk about sort of big game players and big moment players, and you talk about fight and desire and commitment. We've just witnessed an Everton game of football there in which Vitaly Mykolenko, Nathan Patterson, James Tarkowski, Amadou Onana all have put unbelievable last-ditch sliding challenges in to deny the opposition from breaking forward or to deny the opposition from creating an opportunity. And Tarkowski's one against Antonio was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and that's the things you want to see as Evertonians. That's what we want to see. We want to see players throwing themselves into tackles. Those challenges at Goodison Park are celebrated like goals. They really, really are, and that's because that's what we crave to see. We crave to see players that are going to throw themselves into challenges. And if you've got to go through an opposition player, then you go through an opposition player as long as you win the ball. Commitment, desire, want to win the ball, and we saw that today from a number of those players, and James Tarkowski for me was one of them. I thought he played really, really well. Again, the leadership and sort of commanding role you could see was coming out of him, although he wasn't the captain. The leadership and commanding sort of side of his game was coming out, and I thought he was faultless today, James Tarkowski. I really do. On to his defensive partner then, Coady, Captain Conor Coady. They do say, don't they, as I said before, don't fall in love with a lone player. Conor Coady was phenomenal again today. Absolutely phenomenal. And do you know what? Listen, I love Jordan, and Jordan, I think, again, is a natural leader. And I have no big problem with Jordan Pickford being the captain of Everton Football Club. But there is a serious argument to be had that Conor Coady should be Everton's captain week in, week out. He's born for it, isn't he? He's a natural leader. He leads by example in terms of his performances. He leads with his voice. He's always talking to people. He's always guiding people. He's always giving instructions out. He gets in the face of the referees if he needs to. If there's any ever an altercation, he gets in the face of opposition players. He's, again, really solid defensively. I'm going to give him an 8 today, same as James Tarkowski. Really solid defensively. Always puts himself about. Always battles. Always throws himself in the way. Got caught 1 or 2 times. He got caught for the over-the-top ball, as I mentioned before. The one in which Nathan Patterson gets a touch on it and it takes it away from Maxwell Cornet. He got caught for that one over the top. But, you know, for the most part, everything that he had to deal with, he dealt with. For the most part, every ball that come over, he dealt with, you know, in the manner you would expect. Yeah, I thought he was really solid again. And Conor Coady's fast becoming a player that I think the majority of Evertonians will want Everton to tie down to a permanent contract before the end of the season, because he's been absolutely fantastic, you know, since joining Everton, and he epitomises everything that an Everton centre-half should bring: commitment, desire, battle, fight, leadership, you know, good defensive ability, and clearly wants to win, wants to play for Everton Football Club, wants to give everything every single time he's on that pitch. No, doesn't hide, doesn't drop his head. If things go wrong, he doesn't sort of cower away and shy away. He epitomises everything that is Everton Football Club, and I'm a captain of Everton Football Club, and yeah, as I said, I'm fully in the camp of go to Wolves now and say, he's not coming back, lads. You aren't having him back. It's at the end of the day, sorry, but he's not coming back. End of story. Nathan Patterson then on the right side. Nathan Patterson. Listen, I'm going to give Nathan Patterson a 9.9 out of 10. I would give him a 10 out of 10, but I think in the first half his passing was a little bit sort of astray. Now, don't get me wrong, he wasn't the only one. I think Onana's passing in the first half was a little bit poor. Like Iwobi's has been better. I think everybody, there was sort of an issue in that first half, certainly, where the passing wasn't particularly great whatsoever. Coady put made a couple of poor passes. But for the rest of the game and for every other element of his game, Nathan Patterson is just wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful. The kid is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. As I said, if you haven't seen the replay of the Maxwell Cornet chance, where it looks like Maxwell Cornet has tripped over his own feet, where he goes around Asmir Begovic and then runs it out, go and watch it again. We've put the replay on our Twitter at MightyBluesYT. Don't follow us already. What actually happens is the ball comes over the top. It goes over Conor Coady. Conor Coady completely misses it. And just as it's about to drop to Maxwell Cornet's feet, Nathan Patterson comes in, takes a little nick, touches it, and just takes it away from Maxwell Cornet. Just as Maxwell Cornet's about to hit it, Nathan Patterson gets the slightest of touches. It takes it away from Maxwell Cornet and away from Asmir Begovic, forcing Cornet to go outside, go around Asmir Begovic as opposed to having the first time shot. And then because he's not balanced, because it's being taken away from him, he can't sort his feet out, and it ends up going out for a goal kick. And it's something that you don't see firsthand when you're watching it on the television, or when you're watching it at the game. You don't see it because it happens like that, and you just think, oh, Cornet's caught himself up in his feet there. But when you actually see the replay, it's an unbelievable bit of defending by Nathan Patterson. Add that to the fact that every single time a player tries to go one-on-one with him, they end up in the Greggs on County Road. His strength, his desire, his passion, his commitment, his little argument with Anthony Gordon. I love that because what that is that's two passionate players who want to win, who want to give everything for this football club, who are determined to do everything they can to get the 3 points, showing that passion and showing that energy. And, you know, clearly very, very good friends off the pitch. Clearly I've got no issue with each other, but that was the competitive side coming out, and I've got no issue with that whatsoever. And yet the kid's phenomenal. The kid is absolutely phenomenal. I love the lad. You know, I said it a couple of weeks ago and I'll say it again. I really, really did think it would be a thankless task trying to replace Seamus Coleman at Everton for what Seamus brings, for his ability, for his commitment, for his leadership over the years. Okay, you know, his ability hasn't been quite there the last couple of years, but, you know, Seamus Coleman is Everton Football Club. And, I thought it would be a thankless task to replace him, and Nathan Patterson's just come in and went, lad, have you ever seen me play footy? I'm fucking boss, lad, watch this. And he's brilliant. I absolutely love the kid. He's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, fuck it, he's getting a 10 out of 10. He's great, he's getting a 10 out of 10. Into the midfield then, Alex Iwobi. Actually, no, we'll go with Garner and Onana first because Onana is getting an 8.5 out of 10. Again, I thought he was very, very, very good. Again, passing in the first half maybe let him down a little bit, as it did with a couple of players, but grew into the game in the second half. And the difference was, I said this in the preview, coming into this game, this fixture last season was a very sort of equally even matched fixture. The difference being is West Ham's midfield was just far better than ours, and they won the game on the basis that their midfield controlled the game. They were able to create from that. It was a completely different story today because our midfield is so much better now than what it was last season when we faced them at Goodison Park, and Onana is a big, big part of that. A sliding challenge to deny Coady where he led with his right foot but still managed to tackle him with his left foot, which honestly I don't understand how, but the fella is just unbelievable. His ability on the ball, I thought he took the ball down a couple of times really well. He used his strength, he used his body. He had a little bit of a knock towards the end as well, which he got up and he played through. I don't know if anybody's seen the video of him taking the fan's phone at the end of the game and doing a video with it. If you've got that video, by the way, of Onana with the phone in his hand, please send me it. But yeah, I thought he was really solid again. Moved the ball well, as I said. Passing got better gradually in the second half. Used his body, used his strength, used his ability. Just a really, really solid performance. And, against the team that desperately wanted to sign him so badly, he showed exactly why they wanted to sign him so badly, because he's brilliant. Next to him then, Idrissa Gueye. It really, really is like Garner's not been. It's mad this, because on one hand, you watch Garner at the minute, and I watched him today, and it was one part of me was thinking, it's like he's never been away. It's like, we haven't just had 3 years of him not being in the team. He slotted in perfectly. He slotted into the system, the new manager, the new tactic. It's just perfect for Everton Football Club. But on another hand, you look at some of the things he does when he's on the ball and when he's, when he's got the ball at his feet and when he's moving it, and you can't half tell he's been playing next to Lionel Messi for the last 3 years. The fella is just so nonchalant in everything that he does. It's like everything he does is just like, yeah, easy this, piece of piss this. I'm actually going to give him a 10 out of 10 today, because I think, okay, you've got Maupay, you've got, Patterson, you've got Iwobi. I actually think Garner was faultless today. I really, really do. There were a number of times that if you would have watched on the television, you might not have noticed, but there were a number of times when watching the game live, where he just nicked the ball back, and it wasn't anything big, it wasn't anything, oh my god, look at that, zoom in on that, replay that, just little bits of pockets of possession where West Ham had the ball and he just nicked it back. He just popped it back, got it and passed it out, just so easily. And again, as I said, it's what you become used to with Idrissa Gueye, because that's his game, that's what he does. But when you've not had that in your team for 3 years, and all of a sudden you've got a player who comes in and every single time an opposition player's got the ball, he just takes it off him and nicks it and moves it around. It's fantastic, and I thought he was faultless today, Garner. I really, really do, considering it's only his second game, his first start since returning to the football club. I thought he was brilliant, and look, we've all been crying out for that. We've all been crying out for that midfield three of Garner, Onana and Iwobi, and we've seen it today, and what a midfield three that is. On to Iwobi then. Iwobi's getting a 10 out of 10 as well. Why? Because he's Alex Iwobi. And every single week, the kid is phenomenal. Every single week, he is absolutely phenomenal. Again, his commitment, his battle, his desire, everything Alex Iwobi brings is just golden at the moment. His pass completion rate, his dribbling rate. He misplaced a couple of passes today. But what you would see in previous seasons with Iwobi, when he misplaced a couple of passes, as his head would drop. His head would drop, and he'd hide in the game, he'd shy away, he'd cower, he wouldn't want the ball again. Now, he misplaced the pass, and instead of his head dropping, he picked himself up and he ran and won the ball back, or he picked himself up and his next pass he made sure it got to where it was meant to get to. I mean, this is great, isn't it? Luke in the comments is still going down. I don't know who you're talking about, but you must be talking about West Ham, mate, because they are dead, absolutely dross, mate. They are dross. If they survive this season, it'll be a miracle, because they are awful. You're definitely not talking about Everton, because Everton are unbeaten in 5, so why would you be talking? Everton clearly aren't going down, because literally unbeaten in 5, 2 clean sheets on the bounce. So yeah, you must be talking about somebody else. But yeah, Iwobi today was phenomenal. Everything he done again was brilliant. His desire, his work rate, his ability, his passing, as I said, maybe could have been a little bit better. But yeah, I thought he was very, very good today. Very good, so he's getting a 10. Onto the forwards then. Demarai Gray. I'm going to give Demarai Gray an 8.5. Listen, I thought Demarai was very, very, very good today. I thought he was very, very good. I thought it was his best game in an Everton shirt for a while. I thought he worked hard. I thought he battled. I thought he was unlucky to not get a goal or an assist with that one that he flashed across the box towards the end. But as I said, I thought it was his best game in an Everton shirt for some time today, to be fair. Demarai Gray, again, wasn't massively involved in terms of creative-wise, and maybe you could say that is his fault, maybe you could say that's not his fault, whatever. But I thought he performed really well today. I thought the battle was there, the desire, his touches were good, his passing was good, his movement was good off the ball. I thought it was a solid performance from Dimmy today. Anthony Gordon on the other side, I'm going to give Anthony I'm going to give him a 7. I don't think he was as good as Demarai Gray. I don't think he was as involved as Demarai Gray. Listen, as always with Anthony, the desire, the battle, the commitment, the energy, it was all there. It was all there in abundance for you to be able to see. Obviously, come off for Dwight McNeil towards the end of the game. Defensively, I thought he was okay. Thought he battled, thought he'd come back, thought he'd done what he needed to do. Listen, he was part of a hard-fought battle and performance today. And okay, you might be able to look at him, and if we wouldn't have won the game, you'd look and you'd go, we need more from you, we expect more from you. But when you've won the game, you sit back and you go, do you know what? Wasn't his day in terms of scoring or being particularly creative, but he worked hard, he battled, he was involved, and yeah, again, not really much more to say. And then Neil Maupay, I sort of want to keep these player ratings videos, give them some form of legitness, or give them some form of credibility. And by that, what I mean is I don't just want to give 10s out week in, week out for very little. A 10 should be something that's earned. A 10 should be something that you think, oh, fucking hell, he was great today. He's got to get a 10. But having said that, Neil Maupay's getting a 10. Again, similar to Adesina Gueye, second game in an Everton shirt. And again, he was phenomenal. I mean, we were reading things on social media to state that, he was fuming, he was gutted, he was really upset with himself last week because he didn't finish the chances in the Merseyside derby that he had. But in the Merseyside derby, he ran more than anybody else. He created more than anybody else on the pitch. Today, again, given the fact he was against two centre-halves that were clearly taller than him, clearly, we're going to give him a hard day. He battled, he worked hard, he ran round, he gave them a problem. When he got the ball at his feet, he moved it off. His passing was very good. His hold-up play was very good. He moved into space. His movement was phenomenal today. When you watched him off the ball, his movement was phenomenal. He moved into the pockets of space he needed to. He played it off. He was everywhere. He wasn't just stuck to one position. He wasn't easy to mark. He was everywhere. And then his goal was just brilliant. As I said, a good ball in by Iwobi, a great flick up, and the half volley outside the box to keep that low and on target, and as fast as he kept it. He was he was great. He presses, he works hard, he battles, he's fearless, and he scraps corner flags when he scores. I mean, who does that? Sound like an Everton player who's fearless, scores goals, battles, creates problems for defenders, works hard, runs around, and scraps corner flags when he scores. Neil Maupay, I think, will be a massive success at Everton Football Club. He's got every single attribute that will go down with Evertonians really, really, really well. And you add that to goal scoring, what we've lacked for weeks and weeks and weeks as a goal scorer. Neil Maupay had half a chance today and he scored it. Half a chance and he scored it. And that I think has a lot to be said about him as a player. And he deserved that today. He deserved that. And listen, when Dom returns, what do we do? Do we play the both of them? Do we play what? I don't know, but Neil Maupay for me I think will be a real success at Everton, and the goal today was phenomenal. I mean, once I've done with this video, I'm just going to go and watch it again another 500 times because it was boss. Ian says Gordon was shocking today, looked disinterested, and Patterson was losing his patience into the argument. Listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I understand it. People don't particularly think Anthony Gordon had a great game, but what I will say is the argument actually didn't come from Patterson losing his patience. The argument was because basically Anthony Gordon was going to go over and mark, I think it was Cresswell or Cornet, whoever it was to put the ball in, and Patterson said, no, I'll go, and then Patterson didn't go. So Gordon was actually in the right with the argument as to say, I was going, you told me not to go, and then you didn't go. So, but anyway, listen, it's two young lads who fighting and want to win and want to fight and want to win and want to battle and want to sort of give everything for the club that have had a little disagreement on the pitch. There'll be pictures of Nathan Patterson and Anthony Gordon next week training absolutely all over each other. Well, maybe not next week because of international duty, but you know what I mean. But yeah, onto the bench then. Let's go through these really quickly. Dwight McNeil, going to give him a 6.5. Had a couple of good touches, couple of moments where he battled and he won the ball and he kept hold of it well. Couple of decent passes, wasn't massively involved beyond that. Abdoulaye Doucouré, great to see him back, of course. Again, couple of moments where the game sort of passed him by a little bit. You can tell he's still lacking that sharpness and that sort of complete fitness, which is understandable because he's been out for a number of weeks. I'll give him a 6.5 again for coming back and having that little bit of involvement and battling around. And then Solomon Rondon, again, 6.5. Won the ball. I think ball comes to him once and he held it up with his body and he moved it out and, he looked okay. But other than that, he wasn't massively interested body. Anyway, we are going to finish it there then. Our first win of the season. Yes, get in. Fantastic performance. Really hard work. It's a really hard fought, battled performance. Unbelievable finish by Neil Maupay to win it as well. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Massive thank you to everybody for watching live. Really appreciate it. If you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below and we'll get involved with as many of them. If you haven't checked out the Instant Match Reaction, please do so. It's live on the channel now. And yeah, we'll be back over the next couple of days with the game review, so look out for that one. Big thank you all for watching and we'll see you later.